Hello, it's Diana from dianamarchand.com, and I am doing a video today about eating during the time of perimenopause and menopause. This is my dog Bailey, just sits up here. He'll be down in a couple seconds. There he goes. Because there's a lot of conflicting information out there, because this time of your life with all the changes that are going on in your body, things you can't really eat like you used to in your 20s and 30s. And I think that a lot of the information we hear out there is of course so geared to like either generalized to all women of any age, which a lot of the things do relate to that. But there are some things that need to change at this time. And I think when women start asking like, oh, it's because what used to work doesn't work anymore. And so then they start to realize that their body's shifting, it's changing. You may have digestive problems now. You may have food sensitivities you never used to have. You definitely have usually the weight gain, which happens around the midsection, right? Like you may have never had to worry about weight gain before. I know I never had to before this phase. And so you've got the hormonal things going on. And then if you're a little more stressed, you have the stress, which causes you to gain weight, and it's really hard to lose weight. You probably can't if you're under a continual amount of stress. So how do you really eat? Like, is there a way where you need to measure your carbs, your protein, the fats, like what's the right balance? There's so many different ways of eating, right? There's vegan, there's vegetarian, there's ketogenic, there's paleo. So what is right? And how do you know you're getting enough of things? What do you listen to? Who do you believe? What do you do? And I know that can be very confusing. So I'm going to just talk about a few things about my philosophies on this. I've worked with many, many women going through this phase of life, and they've had huge changes for the better, even able to release weight they weren't able to release before for a couple of years. So when your body's going through this phase, it's different. You need to adjust things. Things need to be a bit different, but it doesn't have to make you feel deprived, because it's all about bringing in more really good nutrient-dense foods, and those can be delicious. Those can be recipes you love. It's just that we're used to eating a certain way. And so when you're used to eating, habits for, you got to look at 20, 30 years, maybe eating kind of the same foods all the time. When you go to make a change, it can be, you don't know where to start. You don't know what you're doing. You don't have the recipes, and you're just left feeling confused. And it seems to take a lot of time to try and figure this all out. Now, I don't count calories. I don't weigh my food. I do, I guess, kind of think of portion size, but I'll let you know how that's done also. Now, do you need to really count calories or worry about the percentages of each? Not really. Now, everybody eats, of course, if you're eating paleo, that's a completely different thing than you're eating vegan, right? But there's some underlying things that are the same. And that means that vegetables and greens. So way more vegetables and greens. Now, if you count calories, or if you think about percentage of carbohydrates, protein, the thing is that doesn't really matter, because calories, what are you measuring? Calories of what? Calories of a cup of sugar? Calories of a cup of broccoli? Huge difference. Also, carbohydrates. Well, sugar is a carbohydrate. So is a cup of broccoli. So is a cup of white flour. So what's right for you? It doesn't matter if you I only have a certain percentage of carbohydrates in sugar in a day, compared to having that percentage of carbohydrates in broccoli in a day. Do you see what I mean? So it has nothing to do about that. Same with fats. Fats are a big one. You have avocado, which is a really good fat, and then you have like bacon, which is a really bad fat, or certain cheeses, which are a really bad fat. So does it matter to know the percentage of that fat you need in a day if you're going to eat the wrong types of fats? So that's what's you really need. And it comes down to common sense. If you have an idea of what the good foods are and what the foods that you should eat a lot less of, right? A lot less of. Sometimes I think people go for that all or nothing. So they think, oh my God, I don't want to change, because that means I'm not going to be able to eat anything that I like to eat. And I'm not ready for that. And that is not what it's all about. At least that's not the way I work with women. I work with women in bringing in what's really important. That is a lot of the greens and vegetables, way more than you ever used to before. But also you need really good healthy recipes, and that's what you'll get. Really good healthy recipes and delicious ways of preparing them, right? And remembering that when we see recipes on the internet and on Facebook and stuff that are low carb and they consume, let's say, cauliflower and cheese, which is a big one, remember that for one, that's carbohydrate. Cauliflower is a carbohydrate, right? So, but it's a good one. But then when you add a whole bunch of bad cheese to it, that's when it becomes not healthy. You know, you got to look at the balance. So let's say if you had a big plate of steamed or cooked broccoli and you had a couple little pieces on the cheese on the side, that is okay, right? That is okay, just a little bit. You want to have more of the good stuff, way more of the good stuff. And now some other foods that you can add in that have good amount of protein that aren't meat, because meat is more acidic for the body, so you want to have less of it, especially if you're consuming any meat you bought at a grocery store. That's really bad with the hormones and the antibiotics that are all in it. I mean, it's not healthy for you at all anyways. There's no nutrients that are good for you, and it certainly doesn't have much fiber. So you want to look at like things like quinoa is a really good one, buckwheat, until you get used to using it, right? You're kind of like, what do I do with it? I have recipes on YouTube because really I use more of the buckwheat grouts and then I grind them into a flour and I can make some flatbreads and some tortilla wraps and stuff with that. And you can add it in some of your baking recipes where gluten-free, right? You can also sprout it. Using it sprouted is the healthiest way, and then use it like a rice. Tempeh, which so many people are so afraid of soy because we've heard, of course, that soy is not good for you, especially for perimenopause, menopausal women in that age because of the estrogen. Well, they are talking mainly about the non-GMO soy, the GMO, sorry, genetically modified soy, and non-organic, that's all genetically modified. So, of course, you'd stay away from that soy. You want to get a tempeh, which is a fermented soy, so it's healthier. It's also, you want to buy non-GMO organic, and that way it is much safer for you. It has complete protein, tons of protein. Also contains things like iron, calcium, magnesium, and it has fiber and some vitamin B vitamins. So give tempeh a try. I suggest starting with the non-flavored and then flavoring it yourself, because anything with a lot of flavors often has preservatives in it. And then things like spirulina and some of the super powders like wheatgrass and chlorella have a high amount of protein in them too, along with tons of minerals and trace minerals and essential fatty acids, which completely promote health, help to detox your body, as well as give you a higher alkaline body, right? And they contain so many nutrients, but no fats. Essential fats, the good ones, but no extra calories, right? And then, so there's things also like you can have lentils and beans, which we know do have some proteins, but they also very high in carbohydrate. So if you're someone in middle age and you consume a lot of the starchier carbohydrates, you're going to continue to gain weight and hold on to the weight. So you want to look at ways you can kind of decrease the starchy carbohydrates. So you can still have, of course, tons and tons of broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, cucumbers, like all the fruits, all the vegetables, but you want to look at decreasing the things like the rices, the breads, the grain, like even some of the brown rices, because they can be pretty heavy. Of course, the white flours and any of the gluten-free products have them very minimal because they also contain a ton of preservatives, right? And if they're at all flavored, like the crackers and stuff, they contain chemicals and toxins that our body stores in fat. You will not release fat if you're continually eating foods that have preservatives, colorings, and all of that in them. So you must read all labels, and that's all salad dressings, that's all bottled sauces that you buy. Packaged sauces are brutal. You end up with a puffy body that's full of toxins and fat. That's exactly what happens. Hemp seeds are a great thing to add. Chia seeds and chia gel. Chia gel is one of the healthiest foods along with hemp seeds. Chia gel has high in calcium. It's a complete protein. It's essential fatty acids. It helps to hydrate you. It's good for endurance. It gives you energy. So many benefits of chia. You can look that up. It's super easy to find now. Store the dry seeds, mix them with water, make a chia gel, add that to your smoothies. Add that to a bowl of fruit. Add it, tons of things you can do with chia gel. It's just about learning these little things to bring in. And once you learn them, you bring them into your day. Wow, the benefits will be incredible. So the quinoa, the tempeh, the buckwheat, the spirulina, some of the super powders. I'm not going to go into all of them. The wheatgrass powders, nuts and seeds. Now everybody goes, oh, that's where vegetarians or vegans get all their protein. No, there's more protein in the greens. There's more protein in the vegetables. It's just that nuts and seeds are nutrient dense. So you get the calories, right? And it's more dense nutrition, but they are higher in fat. So you don't want to consume huge amounts of nuts and seeds, right? Again, the largest amounts of foods you would be eating will be the vegetables and the greens. Those are in every meal and in large amounts. Everything else is in smaller amounts. And then, of course, unless, quinoa's good, buckwheat good. And there's tons of other different grains now that are coming out on the market. Teff, amaranth, einkorn. I mean, there's so many now, right? You can check into those. There's a lot. What else I have? Lentils and beans. So what about lentils and beans? Well, there's red lentils, which aren't quite as heavy or as starchy as the green lentils or the other lentils. Now, including, again, a little bit of lentils is fine. But if you make a lentil dish, you want to have more veggies with it. Or the lentil dish is on the side and you have a salad and you have a ton of vegetables too, right? The lentils, because they're a starch or a carb, just like your beans, anything like that, you have a little bit of it. What I love to do in my salads is add in some white beans or some black beans or some chickpeas. But of course, I still have way more vegetables, way more greens in my salad than the chickpeas. And I also add nuts and I add seeds. And that way, I'm getting the nutrients of everything. But yet, I'm still consuming more of the vegetables and greens, which are the high nutrient foods, the foods that have the exact nutrients every single cell in our body needs to function properly and at its best. So we need those. And then we're consuming a bit less of the starchier and the nuts and seeds, the higher fat stuff. That's if you're focusing on stopping the weight gain or losing the weight gain. Right now, what about having some baked yams or chopped yams, cooked yams in your salad too? Another way to add a whole new dimension to salad to fill you up more, so it's more substantial, yet you're keeping the portions of the starchier stuff, the smaller part of your salad. In the summer, I add new potatoes. I saute them and then I have the cold ones and I add those to my salad. But more veggies, more greens, less potatoes. So it's really about more of the nutrient dense, lower calorie foods and less of the higher starchy foods. And of course, the packaged, the processed, the preserved foods, the canned foods that are not organic, those types of things, you want to start to get them out, because knowing they will put on the weight and you will not be able to lose the weight you want as long as you consume those preservatives and those fillers and those toxins going into your body. As well, they lead to a toxic body, which inflammation within the body, disease and illness. So you don't want that. So you want to greatly decrease those. Dairy and meat. I'm not against people having meat. I don't myself consume it. But if you do, you get the grain-fed, whatever, organic meats. If you choose to eat meat, do that. You owe it to yourself. If you buy the commercial meat in the grocery stores, I tell you, none of it or very, very little. Know that you are putting tons of shit into your body that could begin to break it down. That's not healthy for it, right? And so that's what's so important. It's about eating food that feeds our body and eating most of that. Now, I still have French fries every once in a while. I still have plain potato chips every once in a while. I still have tortilla chips with salsa. I still have those things. But the majority of my day is spent eating good, healthy foods and 2 smoothies a day and some juices, whatever I can do to pack in huge amounts of nutrients and eat those right food. That way, I know that every once in a while I can eat those other foods. I can enjoy beer and French fries sometimes. And I do, because it's about living your life. And I still drink coffee, right? I still drink coffee. And so don't get in that all or nothing mood, all or nothing attitude, which actually stops you from even starting to eat healthier. Or if you start really clean and healthy for a certain amount of time, And then you think, I can no way keep this up. So you quit altogether and go back to old habits or behaviors. That is not the way to do it. So I highly, highly encourage you to just start with things that are simple. Include 2 green smoothies a day. Make sure you're using real greens in it. Make sure you're maybe using a mixed green powder with a lot of healthy ingredients. No nut milks, because if you want to keep the weight off and not gain anymore, then you don't need the nut milks in your smoothie. They just add extra calories. And I have tons more videos on YouTube if you want more information. And make sure to be part of my Facebook community, Women Creating Healthy Lives. I post a ton of great recipes in there, meal ideas all the time. I get on live videos in there. I share information. And that's exactly where you're going to find those little things that are going to help you enjoy your food, love your food, still love your life, and not pack on any more weight and probably lose the weight, and actually gain more energy and feel better. And reach out to me on my website, dianamarchand.com. I have some fantastic programs, and I also work one-on-one. So we can completely customize something for you, work on you at your own pace, help you, give you a kind accountability, support, guidance, so you don't slide backwards all the time, so you actually move forward, so you actually get some results, stop the weight gain, lose the weight, start to feel better, gain more energy, get better, youthful skin, start feeling alive again, and are able to really enjoy the rest of your life because you're going to be healthy and keep your independence, which is so very important. All right, thanks for watching this video. See you later. Bye.